What is going on, guys? Quality XA here today, and today I am bringing you guys a brand new video on Destiny 2. Now today we're actually going to be rounding up all of the news from this past week. Now we actually have quite a lot of stuff to talk about, so strap in the seatbelts and let's get right into this. So first off, we're going to be talking about the remaining guns coming in Season 2. Now, as you guys know, for the latest Iron Banner, we actually got 3 new weapons, which are actually pretty decent to use. They're extremely fun, and glad that they did actually give us these 3 all in one go rather than release them 1 or 2 at a time. Having 3 weapons just gives us to have a big mess around with, but they are pretty decent. Now, there is actually only 6 more weapons, I believe, that are actually coming out in Season 2. And these are in the faction rally, so pretty unbelievable. But regardless, let's get right into this. So first off, we have this from Dead Orbit. This is the Radiant Stardust. It has the perks Lightweight Frame, Full Bore, Hammer Forged Rifling, Chambered Compensator, Steady Rounds, Appended Mag, and Grave Robber. Sounds like an awesome rifle. We also have this Distant Tumulus, which is a sniper rifle. It has Rapid Fire Frame, Small Bore, Arrowhead Break, Extended Barrel, Extended Mag, Flared Magwell, and Pulse Monitor. Now that sounds like an extremely awesome sniper, and also looks like a monster as well. It looks like it's got some huge silencer on the end of the weapon, and just the design of it looks really nice indeed. Moving on, we have this legendary shotgun from the Future War Cult known as the Decide. So for this, you've got Rapid Fire Frame, Full Choke, Fluted Barrel, Small Bore, Steady Rounds, Flared Magwell, and Moving Target. Again, sounds like it's got some really nice perks. I'm not the biggest fans of shotguns, but it does look pretty decent indeed, and also you can't fault the design on the Future War Cult weapons. Moving on, we have another sniper rifle known as the Domino. So for this, you've got Adaptive Frame, 9 Rect Telescope, you've got 50 Val Telescope, you've got the Alloy Magazine, Flared Magwell, and Pulse Monitor. Again, looks like an absolute monster. Again, following that Dead Orbit sniper with the huge silencer at the end of it, but looks like an absolute monster, and some really nice scopes as well as perks on this. So yeah, pretty darn cool indeed, especially considering sniper rifles aren't actually in the best place, so it would be nice for some cool sniper rifles to actually use soon. Next, we have a grenade launcher known as Interference for the new Monarchy. So for this, you've got Adaptive Frame, you've got Volatile Launch, Smart Drift Control, Hard Launch, Alloy Casing, Implosion Rounds, and last but not least, Field Prep. A really nice grenade launcher by the looks of it, especially the design. I've been the biggest fan for this new Monarchy design. It just looks absolutely phenomenal. They've got that golden line which looks really cool and definitely goes with this design on this grenade launcher. And then last but not least, we have a brand new shotgun for New Monarchy known as the Quick Claim Shotgun. So for this, you've got Aggressive Frame, Rifled Barrel, Smooth Bore, you've got Fluted Barrel, Flared Magwell, Assault Mag, and Field Prep once again. Again, looks really beautiful indeed, especially with the chrome at the end of this shotgun. Really nice, but yes, that is all of the 6 weapons that are actually left to come in Season 2. Hopefully they can actually bring out some more. I'm really hoping for that, but looking through the database, this is the only weapons that are actually left, which is pretty unfortunate, and I really hope that they do add some brand new ones into the database before Season 3 comes out, because it is still quite a far way away. Now moving on to the more juicy news now. First up, we have this brand new emblem which has just entered the database. Now this currently doesn't actually have a name, but as you guys know, there has been a load of like Rasputin and Warmind stuff coming out recently, and this is in the database, and you guys can see it's actually linked to Rasputin as well as the Warmind. You can see the logo on the left hand side, which actually has the Warmind logo, so very interesting indeed. We did also have the other logo that I showed you the other day on the emblem, which is also linked to the Warmind. That has been debugged as a pre-order emblem, which I expect is coming out when the second DLC comes out, or it could also be when one of these brand new toys come out. I can't remember the name of them. Funko Pops, I believe they're called. They usually come with some DLC emblems as well, so it could be linked to that. And also, just as a note, this one could also be the same as well. Now moving on to talking about the playtest, this was said by DMG in the Bungie forums. He said, judging from the fun we've been having in playtest. Now moving on to the playtest side of things, we actually have this from DMG, and he said in the Bungie forums, judging from the fun we've been having in the playtest, I'm fairly excited to see the changes in your hands. I'll see if we can get some sandbox details from update 1.1.4 for you in this week at Bungie. Very awesome indeed, so expect to hear some news from that in this week at Bungie. Really cool indeed, and cannot wait for them sandbox details. We also got this from John Winooski on Twitter. He said, exotic tuning playtest update. Just saw a Sturm and a Drang take first place in an 8-player rumble. Very interesting indeed. It does look like they're buffing the exotics a lot during the playtest sandbox update, so really cannot wait to see what these exotics can do and what kind of updates they're actually getting, because a Sturm and a Drang actually winning a 8-player rumble is pretty darn good, considering they're not the best weapons in the world at this point in time, so expect some major buffs for that. Next we have another tweet from John Winooski, and he said, when you boot up the build in the morning and FX has done their pass on the new redacted projectile tracers. Now I'm not too sure what this could mean. It could be a link referring to the trace rifles. That's the only thing I can currently gather. It might be changing the sound because he does say FX. That's the only thing I can currently link by this. So possibly expect some changes for the Cold Heart and Prometheus lens. Maybe even some brand new trace rifles announcing at some point soon. But regardless, they are pretty awesome. I really love the trace rifles. I just hope that more end up coming in the game soon. Moving on to another post from DMG, he said there are some changes being cooked up for update 1.1.4 for grenade launchers. Had a blast today in the playtest. I'll look to see if we can talk about that next week with the sandbox team. So again, some awesome changes again. Grenade launchers are currently the most underused weapon. Apart from the colony, that's probably the only viable grenade launcher that you can use at this point in time. But apart from that, they're just not that good. They don't beat rockets. They don't beat a lot of heavy weapons. So we'll just have to see what grenade launchers can do in this new update and sandbox test. Really cannot wait to see that. Let me know if you guys are a fan of the grenade launchers, and are you going to try them when this update does come out. Next up, somebody actually said to DMG wanting to talk about the power ammo and what's actually happening with it, and he replied, the 1.1.4 will introduce changes to the power ammo economy. You'll have many more opportunities aside from timed power ammo crates on the map. We're also tweaking the power ammo spawn timers a bit, so you'll have more chances to snag crates as they spawn in general. If you're feeling you're still encountering this experience frequently after the update, please let us know. So really cool indeed. I personally do not want too much heavy coming into the map, but I know that they are adding a really awesome feature where when you actually shoot somebody and kill someone, if they've got heavy, they will actually drop a box of heavy, so you can actually take their heavy ammo instead of having to wait for the timed limit to grab it off the wall, which is a cool feature. I just hope that they don't make the heavy spawn in too frequently. Moving on to Reddit now, we have this one from Cosmo, which is a very interesting statement about the god-rolled weapon Masterworks, should we call this. So somebody said grinding for Destiny 1 god-rolled weapons was a better, more fun, artificial grind than the current Masterwork core grind in Destiny 2. And Cosmo replied, Masterworks is a V1 feature that we can definitely build upon. I'm always interested in hearing what you think would make them more desirable. So this could be a hint to random roll weapons at some point in the future, or maybe even more perks on weapons so we can adjust and tune the weapons to our liking, which you have to earn somehow. I think that's what the biggest thing about this is. There's no randomness in Destiny anymore. You can't get random rolled armor or weapons. You can only get the specific things and choose your perks. But we just need a system where you can get random stuff, which would obviously help you in the long run. If you get a better weapon than somebody else, you're going to beat them, but you have to grind to get that weapon. That's what I'm getting at, and hopefully they can implement that at some point in Destiny 2's lifespan. Next up, we have this on Twitter. So somebody said to Christopher Barrett, "Hey guys, happy Monday. Random question we were talking about before the show last night. We thought you guys had hinted about this at some point, but there are no plans to have a guaranteed Masterworks rewards for certain harder activities like the Nightfall, thanks." And Christopher Barrett replied, "Yes, that's something the team is working on. So you guys can expect to get more Masterwork guaranteed rewards from harder activities like the Nightfall, Trials of the Nine and the Raid. I know that there is currently a buff for them where you do actually get a buffered up chance, but hopefully you can actually get a guaranteed Masterworks from these drops from some point when this next update comes along. Really cool indeed, and cannot wait for that." And then last but not least, we're actually going to be talking about the Lost Sector glitch which came out with the new Nightfall scoring, where you could efficiently go to a Lost Sector, get so many points onto your score, and then complete the Nightfall and literally get the tier 4 Emblem card, which you shouldn't be able to get like that because it is classed as a cheese. But this was the response from Cosmo. He said, "We won't be utilising the super high scores from this cheese method when we adjust the Emblem tiers, but we also don't mind celebrating players who find creative ways to run up the score. If you know their method, see if you can top their score." So very interesting indeed. They're sort of inducing the glitch at this point in time, saying use it while you can because eventually they will debug it. And DMG also said, "We're actively investigating this issue. It's looking like we won't be able to update to get a fix for update 1.14, but potentially 1.2.0 in May. So this definitely needs to be fixed, otherwise every Nightfall would just be a walk in the park. So hopefully they can fix this soon. But if you guys are wondering how to do this, just go and type in on YouTube. I will leave a link in the description as well on how to do this glitch if you'd like to check that out. But yes guys, that's pretty much the video. If you did enjoy, a like is much appreciated. Subscribe if you guys are new around here. And as always, peace out, and I hope you enjoyed.